So the properties off 2 or 3 every week. Go to the East Jerusalem Development Company, and you can bid. So I went to the East Jerusalem Development Company, and he didn't even tell me to sit down. He said, 3 men want their money back. If you know what it is today, and I'm telling you, they wanted their money back. 3 guys wanted they won the bids, but they wanted their money back. So he said, here are the addresses, look at the properties, and pick what you like, and you pay them the money that they paid us, and then we'll work out the paperwork. And we did. So I bought a property that consisted of 1 wall, and I hate to use the word, I won't use it, it comes in several languages, but it had a lot of muck going all the way to the back of the building. There was no roof, it was just space with a front wall. And I bought this, and they said 24 months, finish your house, or you can lose your money. What I had to pay down the table. So I went to work. I didn't know anything about construction. I even did not. Did you ever hear this joke about this sea captain before the ship sails? Every time he runs up his cabin and opens up a little drawer that's locked, and he looks at a piece of paper, puts it back, and he goes about his business. And after a few years, he drops dead, and the crew runs up to his cabin and rips open the drawer to see what it is that he looks at every time they start sailing. And it says, starboard is on the right side, and port is on the left side. I had the same problem when I was building.
I'm sorry, I'm shaking the camera.
When I was building, I didn't know the difference between cement and concrete. And I one day ordered the wrong thing, and this truck comes over, twisting around, and tilts, and out comes all this cement, and he drops it. The space in his whole table up to about almost the ceiling. And I said, what the hell are you doing? I ordered cement. He says, no, you ordered concrete. I said, what's the difference? After that, I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and I left it in my pocket. Anyway, to make a short story long, I finished the house in 2 years, exactly at the time that I had to finish it, and we've been living in it very happily ever after. Oh man!
What about the donkeys with the...
Oh, I had a few other experiences. I could not get a job. I should tell you this, not showing off. I have a doctorate and I wrote 4 books, 6 altogether, but 4 on my subject. I couldn't get a job in Israel, and I applied to 30 positions. The reason was, and I didn't realize at the beginning, I was educated in America. And as a economist, they wanted you to be a communist. So I couldn't get a job. Nobody would employ me. The Treasury Department had ads. They were looking for people with my background.
You should have used your grandmother for a reference.
I should have brought her over and she would have told him I was a communist. So one day I had nothing to do. I was walking along King George Street, and I see a sign up that this is the Ministry of Tourism. Ministry of Tourism on King George Street. It used to be there. So I went in there and I asked to see the economist of the Ministry of Tourism. And I go in there, and his name was Scheiklis. I'll never forget this. And I said to him, do you know this place is looking too much like New Jersey? I said, I want to see a camel, I want to see Bedouin, I want to see the romance of the Middle East. I said, and I've been to tourist agencies, and nobody knows anything about it. I said, I want to set it up. Could you give me a piece of land? How do I go about it? Worst thing I ever did in my life. It took me 8 years to put together a project that in the States would take me about 9-10 months. 8 years! And I was going crazy with it, but I refused to give in because these were bureaucrats. It was socialism. It's a sickness. Let me tell you, I'm being serious now. There's a social illness called socialism. Don't let anybody ever sell you on that idea. It is terrible. So,
save company at this table.
So, in any event, they came to my Lakrati, how do you say it? They came toward me when I asked for some things, but it took me a year to do it. So finally I got a piece of land in the northern Negev. It hasn't been touched since Khaled Ben Yefuneh gave it to his son-in-law as a wedding present, which I found out was true. And he didn't like it. If you read in Yehoshua, he didn't like it, and he told his wife, go to your father and say, this is terrible, this place is awful. That's the place they gave me to build this project on. So I got to work, and it took me, after a lot of expensive lawyers, couldn't get anywhere, and we were into the 8th year. 8 years. And I still wouldn't give up. Until one day I saw a program on television, Kolbotek. You ever hear of it? Kolbotek? You know, if you have a bottle of wine and you see a cockroach, you can get onto Kolbotek. You bring it with you, and they'll call up the owner of the company that made this, and he has a scandal in front of the television. That's what they do. So I called them up and I said, are you interested, by the way? Am I going off too far in the end here?
Yeah, good. That's good.
We're off the deep end? No. I have a habit of doing that.
You've been off the deep end from the time I knew you.
So I told them my problem, and they said, send us the papers. We want proof. 2 weeks later, they had a truck waiting upstairs with these big cameras, TV cameras, and God knows what. And I had to get into the truck, and we drove straight to the Negev. And they interviewed me in front of my property, and it was partly in ruins. They had ruined it for me to keep it similar. All Shoma. Let me tell you, the place they gave me to build my project, Kippah, Free Enterprise, was in a place called Bnei Shimon. It's just outside of Beersheba, which is inhabited totally by the Shomar Tzayir. They have 8 kibbutzim there, and they control the town council. And they figured they'll have a good time with me. So they made my life a misery. My documents were lost and could be found, all kinds of things. So these TV people rush into their place and take pictures of them, and it was on that week on television on Kolbotek, 10 minutes. 10 minutes on television, and they got letters from the Prime Minister. You have no idea. They suspended the whole council, picked new people. I got letters of apology, and they went into partnership with me. They went into partnership. It was an unbelievable experience, but it was socialism. Today you won't have that problem as much. It still isn't 100%. It's maybe 60%, but it'll come back. Anyway, that's the story of my life.
So you really put it
It is?